Hey.
No, yeah, please don't.
On a serious note, PJ would enjoy this because we're going to talk about Australia.
Oh, I will enjoy this.
Yeah, most definitely. That's where PJ was born. Now, 2 years ago, Australia revamped its professional soccer league. Now it's called the A-League. And the first team to win it last year was called Sydney FC. But unfortunately, the team that's making the headlines this year is not Sydney, but one from Melbourne. And we sent our very own Shaki Tan up to Melbourne to find out more about Melbourne Victory.
Well, here I am in the beautiful city of Melbourne, Australia. Now, the Telstra Dome is one of the several multi-purpose stadiums that Melbourne has to offer. This one here, it has a retractable roof, pretty impressive, and a capacity of 55,000. It's the perfect home for Melbourne Victory. They're one of the 8 teams in the A-League, and if you don't know much about the A-League or Melbourne Victory Football Club, it's time to find out.
It was decided to have a truly national competition within Australia and to have licenses for 8 teams, and those licenses would extend over an 8-year period. So the Hyundai A-League was created last year. We're now in the 2nd year. The 8 teams play each other 3 times, which is 21 rounds, which run from August to January, February. Then there is a finals series where the top 4 teams out of the 8 teams play in a finals, and the team that finishes as the minor premiers, in other words that wins the first 21 rounds, they go to the Asian Champions League, and the team that wins the final series, the grand final, they also go to the Asian Champions League.
Victory had a disappointing inaugural season, finishing 7th out of 8 teams, but the club is flying high this year, currently leading the league by a massive 13 points.
We started our recruiting and our campaign last year by aiming at a younger age group than most other teams, because we wanted to build a team over 2-3 years. We built on that young age group last year by recruiting 5-6 more players and bringing in a Scottish player who played for Manchester United reserves, and by bringing 3 Brazilians over, and now we have a more international type of team.
Melbourne Victory's attendances have been so large, they had to move from an 18,000 stadium to the 55,000-seater Telstra Dome. The league itself is starting to gain interest internationally and have brought back Australian players such as Kevin Muscat from overseas.
I'd spent near on 10 years in the UK. I just felt it was time to come back. Always wanted to give something back to Australia and Australian football, because obviously it's given me so much over my career, and it was an ideal opportunity with the new league being set up, and I wanted to be part of it.
With the 8 clubs coming from different Australian states, I asked former Hull City forward and top scorer Danny Allsop who are the fiercest rivals in the A-League.
There's one game that sort of gets looked to more than the others, and that's Sydney versus Melbourne. So that's a huge game here, even though we're not closely geographically we're the 2 biggest cities in Australia. So that's always a huge game, and I think Melbourne's always got a rivalry with Adelaide as well. So that's another huge game, and there have always been close games.
With Victory uncatchable at the top of the table, they are assured a spot in the final series. And if they win against visiting Sydney FC this Friday, the club will claim the A-League Premiership and a place in the 2008 AFC Champions League.
Good job, Shaki Tan. So it's going to be a very massive game for Melbourne Victory on Friday. That's tomorrow, by the way. A win against their fierce rival Sydney FC will make them the league winners.
Now, Shaki has returned from Australia bearing gifts. She has a Melbourne Victory shirt to give away, and it's definitely a keeper, as she's got the whole team to autograph the shirt. So if you want to get your hands all over this, all you have to do is answer this simple question.
Which is, who are Melbourne Victory's opponents tomorrow, Friday, 8th December?
Or yesterday, if you're watching on Saturday. The email address is...
You think you're so cool, don't you?
No, just I can do it, that's all.
Yeah.
That's it. Anyway, you're an Australian.
No way. They present facts here on Football Crazy. So now we know that you're Australian on the show. Someone from Melbourne Victory, Kevin Muscat, you used to play with him, right?
Yeah, I used to play with him and against him. I played with him a couple of times at the Australian Institute of Sport when we were about 17 years old, and against him also there. And he went on and had a great career with Rangers, Crystal Palace, Wolves as well. So no, he's done well. Yeah.
So was he any good on the pitch at the time in the 17? You tackling really hard?
He was actually a centre midfielder, and he used to run the show, and then he got a start at the right back at a young age in the senior team and went on and played there. But Australian football, it's really starting to kick on a little bit. They've got the league running at a very professional level. They're moving on. Obviously, Sydney and Adelaide will be playing in the Asian Champions League next year, so that's really kicking on. And I remember when I was playing in Malaysia, there was 160 Australian players playing overseas at that time. So with the setup of the new league, they're trying to bring a lot of these players back. So it's good to see the Australian football moving into the AFC, getting a little bit more notoriety. Good to see.
Fantastic. And I was supposed to ask PJ that, but he sorted it out. So this is Jen for Des Skokie for the top corner for Asian football, and he looks better without his moustache. Goodbye.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate your stuff.
Thanks, mate.
Come off camera high five. I like your stuff. Off camera. Love it.